Okay, SQL is done. I promise you. We are not going to do anything else on the SQL Server yet. We're going to do it later on, but not in this video. This video we're going to start talk about Configuration Manager, all requirements for the Configuration Manager. That's not SQL. Don't need to worry about that. But before we start, have you left your like? Did you share with your friends? Did you subscribe if you're not subscribed yet? Take this time to do that. And while you're doing that, let me open here some websites. The first one is, of course, supported configuration for Configuration Manager. It's kind of an index for many things you need to consider when we are looking at Configuration Manager. So we look already few of those. Size and performance guidelines, supported version for SQL, and few others. And now we are going to start looking at those for Configuration Manager server or servers. So the first one I want to point to is supported site system servers. So what servers can we use for what? So we can use 2022, we can use 2019, 16, and so on and so forth. As we are looking at, well, we have installed 2019, and here we have the versions. We can use either standalone or data center editions. For the site servers in the central administration or site CAS, primary or secondary sites. I will talk about those things at a later stage. And for site system servers, so some of the internal components of Configuration Manager that can be remote sites or remote servers, those are the ones that we can use for Configuration Manager. So basically, everything in Configuration Manager we can use 2019 at the moment. So the lowest version we can go is Server 2012. But I would not recommend 2012 because, again, 2012 is almost out of the support. So we are using here 2019, and it's good for us that everything applies actually 2019. So when we then have the server, we need to see what's the pre-requirements for the server. So in this is where we have the site and site system pre-requirements for Configuration Manager. Configuration Manager can be installed in one server or can be installed on multiple servers. So the server where we install Configuration Manager is called site server, and the remote servers is called site system servers. So in this case here, what do we need for basically the whole infrastructure? We need a 64-bit OS. We cannot have 32 bits anymore for the server side. We can still manage 32-bit operation systems clients, but not on the server. We cannot use server core, so we need to have the UI for majority of the server. There are a few exceptions. There we can see here the lists. We need to have the server in a domain environment. So our server, same as with the SQL for Configuration Manager, needs to be installed on a domain, not domain controller, on a domain, okay? Cannot be installed on the, well, I would not recommend on the domain controller, and cannot be installed in a domain controller, read-only domain controllers. But anyway, then we cannot, there are some roles cannot be installed in a Windows Server cluster, and few other pieces and bits. Then just have a look on this documentation. For .NET, we need at least .NET version 4.8. Of course, it's still 4.6.2 is still kind of supported. If not, it depends on the OS. If .NET 4.8 is not supported. As far as I know, 4.8 is supporting every single OS that Microsoft does support. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But 4.8 is actually recommended for us. And there are a few other pieces and bits depends on the site system we are installing, and so on and so forth. So there is a lot. But what we are going to do is, before we actually start the installation, we have here the reference for configuration manager setup. So this is another documentation that has loads of information that will help us to prepare the server. The first one is setup downloader. So we have the files, so the setup files, but we need to have extra files that we need to download. Yes, it's not just, oh, I have the ISO and that's it. No, we need to download extra files, and this we are going to do as part of the setup. And we have also the pre-requirement or prerequisite checker. So it's going to check if all the configurations we have actually use it. So did it install .NET 4.8, you have the rights, all those kind of stuff, it will validate through the pre-requirement checks. Those things can be run before the installation or during the installation. And also we have the installing for configuration. Basic, this is an index, everything you need to know. So prepare the site, prepare pre-requirements, and so on and so forth. But from now on, I will try to use all the best practice. So far, what I've been using, logging in with a domain admin account. Not best practice. And actually, I was using administrator. It's even less good practice. So now let's create a few accounts and a few groups for the configuration manager. So I'm going here on the Active Directory, and I'm going to create an admin account for configuration manager. So I'm going to create a new account, and I'm going to call SCCM admin. And this, admin. This account will be the user that will be the full admin. So imagine that would be my Raphael admin account in your company. So the other thing I will do is I'm going to create a group for the administrators. So in this case, it will be SCCM admins. So those guys will have the rights to do everything, because tomorrow you leave, someone else comes in, you just use that group for the person to have all the rights it needs. Okay, so and now this is done on the SQL side. We now need to do on the, is on Active Directory. Now we need to give the rights for that group in every single server. So because we are dealing only 2 servers so far, the first one is the configuration manager. That group needs to be local admin on that group. So I'm going to manage this computer, and using here the computer management, and add the user or that group to the local administrators. And I will put here SCCM admins. Okay? I will do exactly the same on the SQL, but on the SQL side, we are going to do not on the server only, but also on the SQL. So I'm going to do the same. Open the computer management and add the user as, or the group as local administrator, SCCM admins. And also on the SQL. So I will open here the SQL Management Studio. And while the SQL Management Studio is opening, just remember, share, like, and subscribe. And if you have any queries, any comments, any questions, leave in the comment section below, and I will try to answer those as quick as possible. So here on the SQL Server, I will just connect, and I will do here in security, logins. I will right-click, new login. I will browse to that group. So just change the entire directory, and the group is SCCM admins. Oops. Need to change here for a group. Now it works. And is a Windows authentication, and here in server roles, I'm going to put this as sysadmin and click OK. So now the user or the group SCCM admins has full access to the SCCM server as well as the SQL server. But the computer also needs to have access. In this case, I'm going to create another group, and this group will be called SCCM servers, site servers. And you can say, why do I create a group if there is only one server? This is because if you have two servers, that is going to like active and passive, or in the future, if you need to change something or create a new environment. So anyway, here, and also is best practice. So we add the computer account for the server 03, SRV003. And this account, again, on the SQL server will be sysadmin, or this group will be sysadmin. So let me put here entire directory, groups, and will be SCCM site servers, and will be sysadmin. Also, it needs to be members of the local administrators group. So I'm going to put here as well SCCM site servers. Okay, so now I have the account and I have the groups, they are configured. There is still a lot more for us to do, but for this video, this is enough for us. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share with your friends, co-workers, so everyone has a good knowledge of Configuration Manager. This is enough for us for this video, so I will see you on the next one. Thank you very much.